I think that Undone can only be told with animation. We're taking the audience on a trip with Alma. In that trip, it's not always clear if we're experiencing hallucinations or dreams or imaginations or flashbacks or even psychosis. But because it's animated so painterly and so realistic, even the realistic scenes feel unreal, so it's always a bit questionable what's real and what's not real. As with all animation, it has to be planned very, very carefully. You cannot just shoot hundreds of hours of films and then cut it back to 1.5 hours. That's not how it works, because every time you have to do extra animation, it will cost a lot of time and a lot of extra money, because it has to be drawn frame by frame. So once the storyboards are finished, then in order to be able to film this, we need to be sure that we can use it for the animation. So we would make layouts first of all the locations that we had to film, because on the set there's no location. So we have to pretend there's a location. So we need to have layouts and measurements and floor plans. Once that was done, we would go to Los Angeles to film the actors there, according to the storyboard and according to all the floor plans and the layouts. The hard thing about directing the live action for Undone is that there is no actual set. There's a stage. We have some apple boxes, some tables, some chairs, and a lot of grids to help us translating the live action into animation. And we have to sort of make a virtual set. I would sometimes just point to a cross on the wall and tell the actors, well, that's actually a pyramid. You should look at it at that moment, etc. So they all had to imagine where they were. And I was super impressed by how they could do that, how they could act as if they were in that environment without seeing it. Once that's done, then that footage is being edited. If the edit is improved, it goes to Minnow Mountain, the studio in Texas that started the rotoscoping process. So there were about 25 artists there who would trace all the live action and make it look really beautiful and expressive. That rotoscope animation would go to Amsterdam, where it's being colored and where a group of artists paints all the shadows frame by frame to give it depth and to make it merge with the backgrounds. The backgrounds consist of oil paintings that we also make here in Amsterdam. So here in Amsterdam, the whole look of the series is defined. I like to paint with oils because it's a very classical technique. It's been used in the 17th century already. It's been fully developed and it's a very organic way of painting. If you look at the backgrounds, if you watch them closely, you will see the brush strokes, you will see all the subtle gradients that are very lively. There's a lot of life going on that you never could receive with digital paintings. In relation to digital paintings, there's a lot of happy accidents happening. You start painting and then things just come into existence. And therefore it has more warmth, I would say, than digital images. The painters that we hired, they're all classically trained painters. They're all very good painters, but they have their own style and their own personality, and they had to adjust their style in a way that it looked like mine, or at least that all the painters had the same style. So that took at least 4 months of work to train them. There's 3D animation involved where we create whole environments in 3D, and we use this technique called projection mapping. So we would use the oil paintings and photograph them and then project them onto 3D spaces, virtual spaces. So we could move through a house that looks completely painted in a very old style, which is pretty new, I think. I've never seen it before. The last part and very important part of the process is the compositing, where there's about 6 compositors who bring all the layers together. So they bring together the animation, the rotoscoping, the coloring, the shading, the oil paintings, the 3D, all those elements from different departments have to form a cohesive world. They have to be brought together and look like it's all part of one world. And the other thing they do is they put in effects, they grade everything, make sure that the colors are beautiful, put in light effects, dust, particles, all kinds of stuff to make it feel like a real world, or almost real.